No, this is not Know Your Numbers. I can't believe it. I created the intro and I didn't upload it. Welcome to Elevate Success. It is Wednesday, December the 3rd, and some things happen, right? It's a little cold in here, feeling a little bit chilly, and I'll be honest with you, I've been cold all morning, and just the thing with the intro, just it's kind of par for the course for me today. I just feeling a little bit off, but here's what I know. There's always something we can learn. There's always something we can glean from everything in life. And today's no different. There'll be lessons learned throughout all of the challenges that we deal with. And today I want to share with you a talk that I gave a couple of weeks ago to a BNI group. So it's going to have a real BNI feel to it. But a lot of the lessons that we learned in this really apply to anybody who's wanting to build a business, because referrals are key. If you ask anybody, they're like, what is the best form of advertising? And they'll tell you that it's word of mouth. Well, word of mouth is a referral. I call it the I know a guy factor. When you come across something or a situation and you know a solution, or they know you as a solution, it's the I know a guy. Hey, I can't help you, but I know a guy. And building the I know a guy thing really does help you elevate your business. It helps you elevate your influence and your impact. It helps you elevate your success. And so I'm going to do a slideshow, which is not our typical way of doing things here. But I think it'll work. And if you want the slides, they're kind of wordy, but if you want the slides, just let me know in the comments. I will shoot them your way, and you'll have them to refer back to. So are you ready to get started with me? I hope you are. And if you're watching on replay, thank you for taking the time out to watch it this morning. So here we go. The power of referral marketing, why givers win. Now, this is based on a book called The Go-Giver by Bob Berg and John David Mann, a book that my father gave me years ago that really impacted how I did life and how I did business. And I am going to go through the precepts of that book, but not deep enough to where you really need to get the book yourself. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that at the end of our discussion this morning. But let's go ahead and jump in. So here's the thing. When you're not in the room, have you ever had somebody refer you when you weren't around, and you get that referral through a text message? Omar is beautiful at doing the three-way text. Shannon Wheeler, a member of our group, is great at doing referrals by three-way text. And I want to ask you the question, have you gotten at least one client because someone talked about you when you're not in the room? That is the power of referral marketing. That is the power of making yourself available for referrals. And so I'm going to help you with 5 lessons, 5 laws, if you will, from the Go-Giver that I believe, if you apply them to referral marketing, will get you more business, will create better relationships, and really put you in a position for success. So number 1, the law of value. Your true worth is determined by how much more value you give than what you take in payment. I call it over-delivering. Somebody expects something, but when you give them more, when you are generous, when you become invaluable to them, you become referable. So when I started coaching leaders, a lot of times I just did it for free. I saw a problem and I wanted to help them, and I would say, well, have you thought about it like this? Or have you looked at it like that? Those of you who have been in my coaching one-on-one sessions, and if you haven't signed up for December, you need to go ahead, because I'm about to block off some time for the holidays. I often ask the question, but have you looked at it like this? And by doing that, what was amazing to me is some of these people that I helped for no pay whatsoever, no compensation whatsoever, are the ones that are, as Seth Godin would call them, my sneezers, the people that are sneezing out what I do to other people. They're referring me. They're saying, have you thought about David? And so my question for you today is, what's one thing that you can give? Knowledge, a connection, a resource, something that costs you really nothing, but is tremendous value to someone else. I want you to ponder that for just a moment, because I believe all of us have something that we can give to someone else. All of us are an expert in our field in some way. Well, David, I just started. Look, if you're one day ahead of somebody else, you're an expert. Perfect example. Last night I was at a meeting at a Christmas event, and people had been coming up to me talking about the fact that I had passed my real estate exam yesterday and congratulating me. And this one lady comes up to me and goes, you took the real estate exam? I was like, oh, yes, I have. She goes, I'm taking it next week. Can you tell me something about it? In that moment, I was the real estate exam expert. To her, I was an expert. Why? Because I'd experienced it before. Now, I could have said, you know what? They're all different, blah, blah, blah. But I said, here's what I learned. And so she went away with that positive feeling that this guy helped me. Will it turn into a referral? I don't know, but I guarantee you, if you put enough of those out there in the world, they will come back to you. Second one, the law of compensation. Your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. Omar is great about quoting Zig Ziglar, but Zig Ziglar says, if you want to get everything you want, help someone else get everything they want. The truth of the matter is, we often look at the world through, how does it benefit me? But the truth is, if you looked at the world of how can I help someone else, I call it customer-centered or client-centered thinking, it will come back into you in the form of compensation. Why? Because you are putting their needs ahead of your own. You're letting it be known through your actions more than your words that you care about what happens to them. And people do business with people they like, they know, and they trust. And you can build trust by putting them first. Let me ask you this. What was the best referral you've ever received? Who referred you to somebody else? Was it somebody you've never met? No, it was somebody that you knew and built trust and invested in them without expecting anything in return. So begin to look at the world through that set of glasses, and I believe that you will see your compensation grow. Now, the law of influence. Your influence is determined by how abundantly you place others' interests first. This goes right along with the second rule, the second law. The more you build trust, when you lead with generosity, you begin to build trust. And the more authentic you are, which we'll get into another one, they will help you build trust. How many times have you seen in your own circle people who could do really well if they got together? Maybe it's a mortgage person and somebody who's in tax strategy. Maybe it is a realtor and somebody who's in investments. Whatever it is, and you see the connection there, if you are the connector, you have built influence with both parties. And so my encouragement for you today is understand that when you give and when you connect, you are gaining influence. And by becoming influential, you become invaluable. By becoming influential, you become invaluable. Then the law of authenticity. Look, just like the live today where we had a little bit of a snafu on the opening title screen. Let me tell you something. Being real beats being perfect. Being your authentic self, who you are, being raw at times, I'm not saying, show up in your pajamas and, oh, this is my authentic self. No, what I'm saying is don't put on a mask in front of others. Be willing to be vulnerable. Will you get hurt sometimes? Maybe. But can I tell you, the authenticity, being real, being down to earth, it goes so much further than being slick and polished. It goes so much further. And so when I begin to talk to somebody as a coach, I will say, I can understand how you feel because I've been where you are, and here's how I've been there. I'm not shining the light on me. I'm trying to make an authentic connection with them to say, you know what? You've had sleepless nights. I've had sleepless nights. You've worried about making payroll. I've worried about making payroll. You've had a customer mad at you of something you didn't do. I've had it. And by being willing to share that, when the lesson comes, when the opportunity comes to step into that next position of expert or impact, you have already tilled the soil to fertile ground. And then when you help somebody from a place of authenticity, that person you helped is more likely to give you a referral. Hey, did you know that Omar really he really knows his stuff, and he knows his stuff because he lived it. Hey, you're thinking of opening a franchise? Did you know Omar opened a franchise? He had some franchises, and he can give you some insight of there. Hey, did you know that David had to pass his real estate exam at the age of 56? He understands what it means to go through that process. But they would never know that if you weren't authentic enough to be vulnerable. And then the law of receptivity. This is often the hardest one for us, especially if you're generous. Ask for the referral. Hey, is there anybody else that you think I can help? Or, hey, I'm looking to do X, Y, and Z. Do you know of anybody that could benefit from this? For those of you in retail, asking people to shout out your sales. Hey, do you mind sharing my Facebook post about the sale we're having this weekend, or in this season that Santa's going to be there? It's not selfish. If you have built trust, if you have given with authenticity, with vulnerability, with generosity, the ability to receive as it comes back to you is all part of the loop. People want to help you. People want to help me if I've helped somebody else. It's not like it's a debt they owe, but it's more like a seed you sow. It's like sowing that seed into fertile ground, and then when the harvest comes, taking the harvest. So one of the things that I know that I deal with as a challenge in this area is how someone can help me. Maybe it's somebody that needs to help you, with a client or a customer or a vendor, or just let them know how they can help you. And that, my friends, will go a long way to closing that loop. Be something worth referring. Here are the 5 laws: value, compensation, influence, authenticity, receptivity. I want you to take just a moment and think about who you can help today. And then I want you to take the action, whether it's making an introduction, sharing a resource, or just sending them a message. Hey man, I'm thinking about you today. Just a thoughtful text. Hey, how's it going? You were on my mind. I want you to do that this week. And then I want you to do it tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. And then I want you to come back in about 2 weeks and let me know, hey, what happened with all that? I think you'll be surprised at how it all comes back to you, because that is how you become somebody who's worth referring. Now, if you want to go deeper into this story, guys, I'm going to tell you the way to do that is to get the book, The Go-Giver, by Bob Berg and John David Mann. It's available on Amazon. I'll put the link to it in the comments to this video. But It's a short book. It's written in parable format. It's a great little story. You could probably read it in one sitting. But I encourage you to begin to apply the 5 laws to your business, to your relationships, and to your life. Because I believe that if you'll do that, if you become a go-giver, if you help enough people achieve their dreams, you will help make all of your dreams come true. God bless, my friends.